All right, everybody, welcome back to Behind the Nine. I'm your host, Alan Gustafson, crew chief of the number 9 Napa Chevrolet. Rolling right along this week, we've got esteemed colleague of mine, the fueler from the number 9 Napa Chevy, Mr. John Gianninoto. Not only is he the fueler, he's also a world record fueler. He holds a world record, which is cool. We'll get into that during the show. So without further ado, John's got some of the coolest nicknames going, right? You got Johnny G, you got Gio, got all kinds of cool nicknames. But yeah, how's it going, John?
Good, man. Happy to be on here. Appreciate it. Hanging in there and doing well, man. How about you?
Good. I'm doing good. So we're going to dive right in here. Tucson, guy from Tucson, Arizona, football player. I got to say, the time I spent in Tucson, it's a pretty nice place. Pretty cool place to be. So how was that for you growing up in stick and ball sports?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm a big Southwest guy now. That's how I grew up. Parents moved over there from New York, kind of brought the whole family. I had the aunt and uncle, grandma and grandpa, so big Italian family all went out there to Tucson, Arizona. Opened up a few restaurants, a little Italian food, and
nice.
That's it.
So are you a cook? Can you cook? I don't even know this about you or what? You got any skills?
I can cook. I mean, I grew up in my parents' restaurant. They had that thing for like 25 years until they retired. So I know how to throw down a little bit. I know some recipes here and there. Obviously, my mom do all the cooking because she's the best. But
were we talking like chicken parm here, pizzas? What are we talking about? Lasagna?
All of it, man. I throw it all out there. Whatever you need done, I can get it done.
Wow! Never knew. This show never disappoints. I'm excited. We're gonna have to get some Giannotto Italian food. We got to sample this. So you I'm assuming play high school football there in Tucson. Obviously, very well. Get recruited. You end up going to UNLV in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So played a few sports in high school and decided to stick with football. I was obviously a little bit on the thick side thanks to my mom's cooking, and football looked like it was going to pan out. Got recruited to go up there to UNLV, Las Vegas. So that was a no-brainer. As soon as they said, you want to come play some football in Las Vegas, I said, yeah, that sounds like a good time. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. Going to college, for the people who are listening who have not been there, I mean, you are literally right at, you're right at the airport, you're right at the Strip, you're right there in downtown Las Vegas. So going to college there, playing football there, that had to be quite an experience.
Yeah, I mean, they tell you to stay off the Strip, but I don't think most of us did that. We all had friends that were working the doors, so we were sneaking in and having a good time there. I remember I first opened up the window in my dorm room, and it looked right there at MGM, and it was probably about a half a mile from it. And I was like, oh, boy. I was like, I better do well here, or else I'm going to be shipped back down to Tucson pretty soon. So it was different, man, but it was a lot of fun, and I have a lot of good friends from there. And, when we go back, it's a little homecoming every time we go race in Vegas.
You now have gone from a guy who was on the developmental program to coaching those guys. So you're the coach. You do a lot of the coaching coordination for the developmental guys who pit the truck series, the races. So that's kind of a cool thing, kind of going full circle for you from being on that team and now being the coach of that team is special.
Yeah, so I mean, when Andy, he's our head honcho. When he approached me with the gig, it's kind of one of those things where I thought about it. And I was like, that'd be awesome to kind of teach these guys what I've been through, some things I've done right, some things I've done wrong. Just kind of put a little wisdom in them and be able to coach what we're doing here, what we're trying to get out of this. So at one day, their goal is to come up the ranks and take one of our spots. And I mean, it is what it is. It's what we were trained to do. So it's been a good ride, and I enjoy those guys. I think they enjoy me. But like I said, there's a lot that I can teach on and off the pit pad because I've done it the right way and I've done it the wrong way. So I know both angles to kind of tell them. So it's been a good ride, and I enjoy doing it with those guys.
Yeah, I think it suits you well. I mean, it's cool. You're for the people who don't know you, I think of everybody down there in the pit program. You're one of the most well-liked people, well-respected people. You always treat everybody right. You've got a great personality. You're a tremendous teammate. Couldn't ask for anything more out of a teammate. So I think that lends itself really, really well to coaching, right? I mean, those are the attributes that are always, well, not always, but typically in a coach. So I think that's a great transition for you, and I'm excited when you got that opportunity, and you seem to be doing well with it. So as we talked about, you've jacked for the 24. Did you? I guess you never did jack when it was the 9. It was the 24 with
That's right.
Jeff, then with Chase.
Uh-huh.
So you're the jack man on Jeff's last win, which was cool, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was definitely one for the memory books. That was awesome.
So then ultimately you transition into fueling, which isn't uncommon. I think for people, the fans watching, that's kind of a natural transition from a jackman to a fueler. Body type is very similar, but just talk through that transition and talk through the jacking aspect of it and some of the key attributes of that, and ultimately transitioning to fueling and some of the key attributes of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started, they brought me in as a fueler, so it kind of came full circle on back at fueling. But I came in with a couple other big guys at the time. You know them, obviously. You know the guy on the 24 and the guy on the 88. Those are some big cats. So I kind of looked down the line and I said, these guys are a little bigger than me. They might be a little stronger. I better go do something that I have to be a little quicker at. So I went for the jack, and it wound up sticking. Wound up doing all right with that, and got my shot in Michigan. Thought that was my last shot, but it wasn't. So I appreciate that. So yeah, and then some circumstances changed, and we kind of went to a different choreography. And like you said, it's kind of a natural progression where you go from jackman to fueler. That opportunity arose. I rolled with it. The coaches had some faith in me there, so learning as I go. But it's definitely been a fun ride. And I remember talking to TJ, our current jackman right now, before he was even in the program. He called me and said, I got in touch with him because a guy I played ball with coached him. He said, is this something I would enjoy? And I was like, yeah, man, you should definitely come and do this, blah, blah, blah. Well, TJ was that guy that pulled me on the fueler.
TJ's that guy. Yeah.
So,
Which ultimately, I think for us, obviously transition to fueling, but the characters we have on the team and the makeup we have of the team, our team's got a really great cohesiveness to it, and you're a significant part of that. I think it always worked out for the best. So jacking, fueling, anything stand out to you? I know for me, I just say from my point of view as a crew chief through the years, the ones that stand out to me right away aren't the successes. They're usually the mistakes, right? Those are the ones that I think of as like, man, I should have, could have, would, or what about this? So for you, what stands out? What races, what experiences for you of your time jacking and fueling the car? When I say, hey, what do you remember? What comes first to mind?
So definitely jacking would be Jeff's final win. I remember that feeling, but I think the whole race we had the 20 nosing in around us. So I think it was Kenseth at the time, and I think he hit me about 2 out of the 8 pit stops that we did, and I was furious the whole day. I was, yelling and all that stuff. I was juiced and I was pissed, and I'll never forget that. But finally getting that done, that was awesome. So fueling is a little bit different, right? It's if you miss a jack post, every once in a while, and the car still goes out, no problem. Miss a plug and the car's got to come back down. Obviously it's out of fuel. That's on you. Everybody's looking at you. So I think the one that comes to mind is probably that first Watkins Glen for Chase when we barely, got enough fuel in that thing. I think you came down and told me, you just looked me in the eyes very calm and said, hey, put your helmet on just in case. And I was just white as a ghost. And I was, oh boy. And I don't think I even took the helmet off until he crossed the finish line. And about maybe 10 minutes later, I finally took my helmet off. But that was one that definitely sticks out. I almost threw up in the helmet on that one.
That's a great. I'm glad you brought that up, because after you said that, I vividly remember that conversation with you, knowing that we were that close. We went through that. Tom Gray was on the show a few weeks ago, and yeah, we went through that exact same circumstance, and he's on the other side, obviously, and he himself and Tom and I had information you didn't have, so that's why I was like, this is close enough that I'm going to make sure that you're ultimately prepared, because this is going to hurt. But it worked out for us, and obviously you did a great job getting that car full. So yeah, those are the pressure moments for sure. So let's talk about the the Guinness Book of World Records, man, that's a pretty cool thing, right? So you have the record for fueling the most cars in 1 hour. The Guinness, do you have a plaque? Do you get like a certificate?
Yeah, so
Like, what's the deal?
well, I was actually going to bring it in, but so that's the flag they sent to me back there, and it says the Guinness World Record for most vehicles, and it's got the date on the bottom, all that stuff. When I first did it, I wasn't too happy about it, but looking back, it's pretty cool to have. I have the plaque, it says my name and where it was at, but I think so. Morgan kind of set the whole thing up, our PR relations, that girl, and she was like, "Yeah, it'll be easy. Don't worry about it. No problem." I was like, "Okay, I guess so." I have a race the very next day. I think we were in Martinsville the next day, and it was Saturday. So I jump on a flight maybe like 6 a.m. and I'm like not really even sure where I'm going. She's like, "Oh, there's going to be someone there to grab you. It'll be all good." Well, I went up in like I think Queens. Yeah, I'm in Queens at a gas station, and I'm kind of walking around. They're like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't start till like 1." It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, "All right, what am I going to do around here? It's raining. It's probably like 40 degrees." So I'm just kind of walking around Queens, I guess, just scoping it out. And I was like, maybe I should just go wait in the gas station a little bit. So I go in there and, I get a hot dog in me, some of that stuff. I change out. I'm ready to go. And we start the thing, and I'm doing it. In the back of my mind, I'm like, there's no way they wanted me to fill up, X amount of cars. I'm doing it. I'm like, there's no way that this works. I was like, I'm going to go back, and all these guys are just going to ridicule me. They're going to say, how could you not get that done? And then something just like switched in my mind. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. There's no turning back. So I just started sprinting and getting it done. And I don't think I really looked at the leaderboard, but when it was finally over and finished, I looked up and I got the record, and I was like, oof. I was sweating everywhere. I thought I might throw up a little bit, but it was about an hour.
So, this is like pump gas, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's totally different, right? Like, so I have to open up somebody's gas tank, like open it up, unscrew it, got to put the nozzle in. Once I get the nozzle in, I got to run off to the next one, come back, close it up, do all that stuff. I think I cut my hand at the time. And like right after, Morgan texted me, like, I saw in the video you had some blood on your hand. She's like, please tell me you're okay. I can't tell Alan that you're hurt. I think, yeah, I flew back, and we raced the very next day in Martinsville. So I was like, nah, we're good. It was just a little scratch. But yeah, as I was moving, that whole thing just all blood. But it was a good time. And, at the time, I probably didn't realize how much I'd be talking about it and how significant it is. But looking back on it, it's definitely something awesome. So I'm glad I did that. I'm glad that Morgan was able to set that up for us, and something I can kind of laugh about with the other fuelers too on campus, and tell them how many world records you got. So it's all good.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a cool accomplishment. It's a great conversation piece. Yeah, and it's a nice trump card to play. And I do remember those circumstances. She said like, "Hey, he's gonna go fuel." It was before a chase race. I'm pretty sure it was before Martinsville. It was a chase race.
Yeah, it was.
And she's like, "Hey, he's gonna fly up there and fuel, get the Guinness Book of World Records, and he's gonna come back." And it's like, well, hold on, like,
Yeah.
snow, rain, flight delay, like this is a bit dodgy. And she does a great job, and she massaged it all and got it done. But I certainly remember having reservation over like, man, like we're trying to win a championship here, and our fueler is going to be, you know, out of town in New York City and Queens, no less.
Yeah, exactly.
Filling a bunch of cars. So yeah, what else? What else is happening? Got a young child? How's that going?
It's good, man. Yeah, 10 months a few days ago. So, learning that whole role, and he keeps us on a routine. So it's definitely good. It's up and at him at 6:30 in the morning, and, he's got to eat. He's got a specific time. So it's been awesome to kind of see him grow and all that stuff. And he's saying some words, he's saying dada. So that's also exciting. But yeah, it's been different, and it's been a good ride.
Yeah, that's fun. That's cool. It's a great age, and as they transition through, that's always super fun. Dad first, right? Did dad win, or is it dad first or mom?
No, it's just dad first. He doesn't say mom yet, so she's a little bit bitter about that. She obviously
Oh,
takes care of him, but it's dad.
all right, cool. So anything else? What we missing?
Man, I think we're good. I appreciate you having the cactus in the background for me. That's nice.
Yeah, the Phoenix cactus.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Exactly. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm a big fan of Arizona. I love Phoenix. I love Tucson. It's such a great outdoor community. There's so many cool things to do, so many cool mountains to ride your mountain bikes on. So anytime I get a chance to get out there, I can remember when I was first going to Tucson, I was like, "Hey, John,
Yeah.
what's the story?" So, yeah, it's a cool place. It's a lot of fun.
Piggybacking off you, yeah, there's a lot to do out there. But there's a lot to do out here in North Carolina too. So I love it out here as well. So it's been good, man.
Yeah.
Thanks you having me on this show. Been fun. It's genuine. You're easy to talk to. So appreciate everything you do for all of us on the pit crew and all that stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I love the show. I mean, this is a great opportunity. You guys do so much hard work and are such huge contributors, and certainly Chase is in the limelight, and people get to know the drivers and the crew chiefs through the years, but the guys behind the cars. There's so many interesting personalities and so many cool things and places you come, and I love learning things about you guys. I am all about some Giannotto Italian cooking. We are going to get that hooked up.
Well,
We're going to make that happen.
Yeah, we go back to Phoenix. I'll have Mama cook something up, bring it to the track or something.
Yeah, we'll have to do that for sure. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure. Thanks for the fans for joining in to Behind the Nine. I appreciate you guys' support. So yeah, give us some comments, give us some likes, give us some clicks, give us some whatever it is you're supposed to do. We'll keep it rolling and yeah, have some fun. Thanks, Johnny.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.